You know, I get comments from people saying they miss me covering Danny's World when it has only been 10 days. So this is me giving you your video, and look, I'm really sorry. It's just better for me to talk about the game rather than play it at the current moment in time. There really is nothing for me to do. After all, I don't have fear of missing out, aka FOMO, or sunk cost fallacy issues. The Easter event is completely irrelevant to me. However, I can't say the same for the majority of the Danny's World player base that do have these issues, and it's starting to get to them. That's today's topic, total event fatigue. It's starting to become apparent to people that this game is really only catering to fan service, and thus as a consequence, we get a whole bunch of innumerable skins to grind for. For reference, I highly recommend you watch these two videos from Vinixic. It really does show the current temperature of the fandom and where we're at. I know, it's crazy that Reddit and Twitter of all places are starting to become critical of the game. You guys are a year too late, man. Really wish I could toot my own horn right now, but oh well. So, what makes this event in particular to be a breaking point for most players? I think it's best if we dissect it and go one by one, since there isn't just one answer. The first problem as to why people are getting tired of this event is none other than the grind. Currently in-game, at the time of this recording, there are over 33 skins in the Easter shop for new players to grind for, and counting, because the upcoming quote-unquote update is going to have even more skins added to this pool. The amount of eggs is completely insane. We're looking at a total of 22,800 eggs with 6,000 iCore for just skins alone. If you want to include emotes also, that's an extra 1,000 eggs, totaling up to 23,800 eggs. Of course, we do have to take into account the calendar, since it does give free eggs, assuming you're even logging in every day in this game. The total eggs is 1,950 for both calendars, so your grand grind total is 21,850. How generous. While the eggs are one problem, it wouldn't be such a big deal if the skins were, at the very least, good. From what I've seen from the community, these skins have been incredibly lackluster, and in some cases just downright ugly. You're not only grinding a butt ton, but you're also grinding for something that you simply wouldn't even wear, or grinding for a skin on a peculiar character that you never play. I know people are going to respond to this by saying, well, don't grind for them, even though I had already established that I do not suffer from FOMO or sunk cost fallacy issues. I'm simply talking about everyone else. There's people who play this game and so happen to like everything this dev puts out, even if it's horse dung, but they don't have the time to grind for it. That is who I'm talking about. Now, if that weren't bad enough, despite the eggs and the mediocre skins, what makes this such an excruciatingly fatiguing task is that the game itself is so damn boring. The grind would not be so bad if it was fun. This game has been pretty much the same from the base of its release, with a few minor changes that barely affect the gameplay loop. The only notable thing I can think of that even spiced up the gameplay was Twisted Dial, if you can even get him. Circle Machines and iCore Leak are a joke, and Treadmill would have been good, but it got hoodwinked by its spawn rate as well as what floor it appears. In other words, barely anything has changed. It's no wonder why people are so damn tired of this event. It doesn't just extend to Easter itself, it extends to the overall game. Hence why Reddit and Twitter aren't only talking about Easter, but the grand scale of the game itself. One other factor that people may not like to hear is that I think players are just so tired of the events being the same. Keep in mind, we had 2 events prior to this that required a crazy level of grind. That fatigue simply carries over, and it worsens because they just copy what they did in the prior event. Surprise, surprise, people don't like doing the same thing over and over again. Funny enough, they have tried to change up the events a little bit by introducing limited Game Pass skins. Honestly, we shouldn't even count that one. A new seasonal floor that is as dangerous as iCore League. The calendar is nice, but along with the calendar comes this extra tab of quest, which I still think is such a good and cool idea, but the execution of it is abysmal. When the second Christmas event kicked in, some of the quests were very frustrating to say the least. One of them requires you to play as Bobette to get to floor 20. I had no problem with this since I'm a streamer and it's not hard to get good players, but for the average non-streamer, you're stuck with the matchmaking system if you have no friends who play this game or aren't interested in it. And that comes with its own problems, but I'll discuss that in a future video. At the very least, this quest required a bit of skill and does feel quite rewarding by completing it. The same cannot be said, however, for Cole's quest, which was complete RNG, with the odds being so stacked against you, it was best to just not even bother. And if you did it, it was the most tiring thing you ever had to do for a character that you don't even play. The quest was so bad that Quell even promised to change this. Oh wait, sorry, she meant next time, so we're still stuck with that quest. Now fast forward into the Easter event and we got the same thing again. I presume by quote-unquote change, she meant in the prior update where the spawn rates for rare twisted changed. And guess what? It still did absolutely nothing to address the issue, especially since Swarm is around and only added more to the rarity pool. So yeah, good luck getting to floor 100, taking up 3 to 8 hours of your time, depending on the team, for a measly 24.37% chance for the holiday rare to spawn. The whole thing is just tiring. This Easter really hit people like a truck. In the end, though, it doesn't matter. I've seen this all before, but on a much smaller scale. So just as a repeat, if you guys remember, back before the dial update, people were complaining about the gameplay loop. And down the line, the dial update was added. Now, despite the update being overhyped and trash, again, dial being the only good addition, Circle Machine was a joke, iCore League was a joke, Brusha was the worst tune ever released. With all of that, this became one of Danny's World's most glazed updates ever. And you want to know what happened to the small scale criticism? It went away. Immediate effective bootlicking kicked in with the typical bumper sticker arguments that we've all heard before. It's an alpha, be grateful, Quell is trying her hardest, and blah, blah, blah. I can almost guarantee you that if she were to add another update like this one that we got back in August, Sidetrack, 8 months ago, almost hitting a year for gameplay updates, back on track, all this criticism would go away for the next couple of months, with the cycle being reset over and over again. Dandy's World players will forever accept less and not more. You're never going to get these guys to change the burden of these events since you keep playing them and rewarding it with playtime. They see no reason. In fact, I'm pretty sure most players are in it for fandom purposes. They don't even care about the game. They care about the stupid ass characters. And they know that. These events will continue to be a fatigue repeat of fan service. Sorry for the doom and gloom ending, but that's just how I see it. And that's why, my subscribers, I've not been playing Dandy's World. I haven't been playing alternatives. I'm a gameplay channel. I'm not in it for the fan service. Other games offer what I'm looking for, which is why I don't suffer the fatigue that you are all feeling. It's why I told my viewers, particularly the ones on stream, that I'm waiting past the Easter event to see real change. If the next 3 updates present no change in the gameplay loop, yes, the gameplay loop, I'm not counting tunes or even the ping system. So if we get no change in 3 months, then I know this game will forever just be fan service and nothing more. Honestly, that's a little too generous since this game has been out for 2 years, but look at me, giving them another 3 months. Yeah, thanks for reaching towards the end about my rant, as well as why I'm not playing it all too much. I pray to the heavens that we don't get a summer event. Anywho, that's the end of this video. With that, I'm going to be calling it here. Goodbye. Goodbye.